Hello everybody, this is William Hall Auto Interiors. What we're doing today is some seats, just plain work truck seats. Have about 5 lines in it. You can see that. So what we're going to do is replace these covers right here. That's the backrest. We use a 1/2 inch. That's a scrim back foam. See it? It's got the backing on it. We'll be gluing the covers on today, and this is actually a video. It's a live video. We don't edit it, so this is what's going to happen during our work day today in this shop. Hopefully it won't take us too long. You see them stacked over here. So we're going to be kind of explaining as we go. Hope we don't miss a whole lot during this video. I'll try to cover everything, so if you're trying to learn how to do this type of work, you'll be able to keep up. Okay, got you mounted so you ain't jumping around too bad. Okay, and I'm William Hall, so we'll see what's happening today. We're gonna get this right here done, and hopefully it's gonna take a couple of hours. Upholstery work ain't a snap your finger and get it done job, and there's a lot of different little things that we're gonna cover that needs to be done that you're gonna run into whenever you're doing yours, and they just ain't no way around it. It's just the way it is. But we're gonna try to cover these things and let you see what you're gonna run into if you're doing it. And there's all kind of obstacles. I kind of explain some of it along the way. Even some of the stuff that ain't happened to these, I'll explain what we do find whenever we get to that point sometimes. So without taking any more of the time up, we're fixing to get started. So Wes is my cameraman today, so maybe if we can get it all covered. So thanks everybody. Here we go. The foam right here had a bad place on it. I went ahead on and put a little glue on it. So this does have to be cut off, but I ain't fixing to cut it off right now. We've already took this part right here. That's the frame. We've already took it loose. It was stuck. So whenever you take this frame out, you're going to have to take your time and kind of pull it loose real easy like.
Hey, Jane.
I thought we took it off.
That was the one you were working on.
Yeah. Stephen Hodges in the hot tub today. If y'all know Danny Hodges, wish him a happy birthday. He's 65. That's my nephew. So you see how it's stuck to the. I thought that I had pulled it off, but I guess I didn't get it all the way. That rust right there will stick. And some of the springs and stuff in here, and you can see the rust on the foam. So whenever it was made, they never painted it. They never put no primer on it or nothing. I don't know what these numbers are. 13097. So it's a 97. I've seen all kind of stuff wrote on frames. Everybody ain't nice, you know. They will put cuss words on there too. I don't know what that is. But anyway, we got some writing on there, so they left us some hidden notes. All right, here's the foam. We're going to start looking for the damage, and there it is right there. These are called cheese cutters, the springs right here. And I guess they named them perfect because they will cut your foam. All right. That says 3597. So I guess the foam was a little bit later than the seat frames, because that's 130.97. That's 3.5. All right. Other than that, this foam ain't that bad. This is the passenger side, so naturally, what's gonna look best? The passenger side. Normally, because people don't ride on it near as much. All right. Here's one right here. All right. Wesley done pulled that one out loose. He did a good job on that. Right here, the driver's side. You see how much worse it is? That's almost all the way through. You can see my fingers right there. See? So that's almost all the way through. I done glued a little piece on here. There's some more of the cheese cutter damage. Even on this side. So I usually try to get the seat covers and stuff like that. And there that is right there, $330.97. So this seat right here was I guess they was all put together about the same time. Normally you don't see the dates in there. And the springs. So with these cheese cutters, you see how this right here is? How that come off? So that lets you know that this spring goes in that hole and then slides over that like that, and then that piece goes over. But we'll have to put it on with a screwdriver once we get to that point. This right here, the plastic has slipped off. I might take a piece of this plastic and heat it up and slide it over the edge with some glue on it, just so it holds it in place. Normally, that's been off for a while, because that tells you. You see that right there, where that oval is ovaled. Look at this one. Have I got a hook or something?
We have to go to the toolbox.
All right, you can take a screwdriver like this right here and get these off. Whenever these springs is gone, you can take and get a thick piece of wire and make what I call a trampoline and do away with these springs. If you use something that won't stretch, like a Dora or something like that, you know, like a trampoline mat or something like that, it's real strong, and just sew it and make a trampoline. So what it is it won't where it won't stretch. You know, you got to have something that's real strong. All right, now look at this right here. You see these ovals right here? All right, you see that oval right there where it ain't wore out too bad? But look at this one. You see where the spring right here has cut into it, like that. And right here. This right here really needs, if you got a welder, you can take and just put a spot right there, like spot weld a little piece right there, and it'll make the spring tighter. Because these right here, once they get a little bit loose, they will sag. So, all right, so what we're gonna do is, we got this right here took off. I'm gonna take this bottom right here off. We're gonna lose our dates because I'm gonna hit it just a little bit with the sandblaster. Not really sit there and sandblast it like brand spanking new, but I'm gonna knock all this rust off. It ain't gonna take me but just a minute to do it now. So.
While he's doing that, I'll start doing everything else, getting everything outside.
then Wesley can take the wire wheel over there and take and knock the rust off of these right here. So these is in pretty good shape, really. Remember I said I was going to take a piece of that? So I got a piece of this. And this piece right here had come off. So that would just fall off real easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I might have to heat it up to put it on. I'm just going to heat it up a little bit. That fan we got in here. All right, now I got it through there. To make it stay, I'm gonna have to put a little bit of glue on it. If you don't put a little bit of something on there, it'll just slide back off. All right, so here we go. Okay, so we got that put back together. So whenever I put my spring on there, it's not going to pop off. These are just alike. I used to buy these by the bulk, but they're not as easy to find anymore. All right, so while we're doing these, making these right here back look like new again, what I'm going to do is Wes is trying to get it where I can breathe because it's going to be mighty hot outside. You take and bend your phone like this right here. Spray them cracks to where the cheese cutters has been cutting it. This is the passenger, so it ain't near as bad. Once we get all that glued, we're taking put some burlap or something like that on the bottom of it, just so it don't cut back in it as easy as it did the first time. This wellwood glue is some very good glue. When it puts this foam back together, it's like a contact cement. When it puts the foam back together, it lasts a long time. Especially if you reinforce it with something like burlap or a piece of vinyl or just anything on top of it to make it hold up. Alright, so we got this much right here done. Come right in here, it just looks like it's kind of busted up right in there. Alright, so while we wait and let that right there dry for a minute, we're gonna come outside and I'm gonna take the sandblaster and I'm gonna blow these right here off.
Sorry, y'all, about moving and you'll get dizzy watching it.
I'm not gonna try to make them look like brand new. I'm just gonna try to knock some of the rust off of them.
I'll just hold it. It's broke.
All right, that's all I want to knock off of it. Just that little bit of rust. Like I said, I don't want it to look like brand new.
gonna weld them while you out here?
Yeah. I'm gonna take these pieces right here, and that's one reason why I went on and done it, was because that was really rusty right through there, where them holes are stretched out.
Never mind all the junk.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not YouTube clean. The passenger side over here, it don't really look like it's that bad. It's got one or two maybe right here. Okay, so it really wasn't that bad, the passenger seat. So we're done. Cut this organ off. Alright, so we're done with that. So we'll get back in there. Honestly, it's hot as the devil's foot out there. For real.
It won't work. I'm about to start fighting it.
I got it.
It won't come up no more.
I don't want it to come up. I want it to come down.
Well, I mean, you won't be looking at your butt. It needs to be up.
Well, I was going to put it up with. Like this. On the table. Alright, so here we are. We're back to square one. We got the glue out here. I was gonna glue these pieces right here. I don't think they're quite done yet. I glued these little pieces on there earlier because it had some foam missing. It don't have to, in places that the cover's not gonna hit it, don't have to be like super clean. You see, I don't have to go in and sand all this and stuff like that. I just wanted to fill that in. Now the parts that you will have to sand is these pieces like this up on the top. Don't go down deep. You trim it off a little bit at a time. It's going to be important to learn how to trim this foam. Because you're going to be doing it a lot. I'm gonna push these seams together that's busted on the seat. Just try to look over it, remember where they all were. You know, there's some right here, here's some right here. This right here really looks bad. It's kind of tempted to take it and cut it off and try to make some more, but it would get into a whole lot more time. And this foam right here was busted up. Okay. So to hold this right here, to hold it all back into place, to hold it all back into shape and make sure that it holds together like it's supposed to, we're going to take and put a piece of burlap across here and maybe a couple of little pieces down in these grooves, like this right down in here where it's tore apart. So the best way is to go ahead and spray it. Let the glue be drying. Always make sure you got a good exhaust fan pulling the air out, even though you're losing all your air conditioning. So we got that sprayed. Just added a little bit of glue to the cut. Can't find the burlap, but I do have a whole bunch of material out here that we'll cut up. Oh, this right here will work just as good. It's just the cloth material, kind of thick. Wesley said we got a whole roll of burlap. Still in the pack. I do use a lot of burlap on the on pieces that's like under the seat. I don't have a whole lot in this, so it'll work. Good. I was looking the other way.
You got this laying here, you can use it. What we've been using.
Yeah, that would have worked good too. It is hot as the devil's foot in Georgia. Oh, gone. Hot. Outside. Piece of wire. Another piece of wire. Since 1998, there's no telling if these seats have been into before. I think Wesley said that they looked like they had been covered. Like the cover didn't match 100%. All this is a spring protector. All you're trying to do is protect the springs from biting into this foam and tearing it up again. That's all you're doing. I didn't put any down in there. I don't think it needed. All right, let's trim it up. Okay, that's all you're doing. Is fixing the foam like this. Just so it don't tear through the bottom. Alright, so that's one. All we gotta do is just go back over the other one like this right here. Do the same thing. This one ain't near as bad as the driver's seat. I do think burlap looks a little bit better, but it's going to be laying on the floor looking up at the seat. Up under it. Say, man, damn, that really looks good. Probably nobody. But it does help. It does help hold the springs and stuff, so that's the important part. All right. Wesley's done got all the springs and stuff cleaned up. So we got the foam and all fixed. Now we'll start doing these seat covers. Once I stick these back on, these is done, that's done cooled down. Both of these are just alike. I think it goes like this. Got my springs already. The long part of them things you'll be able to tell when you take them off. They go toward the back. Normally I use a pick, but this right here does work just about the same. Remember that piece we put on there? That's gonna save it so it don't slide off so easy. Just line them up, and there we go. That's back like it's supposed to be. So this is the driver's side. This is the one that's passenger side. We're gonna take this, put it back into the foam. Alright, so as you see, that's ready for the cover. Alright, Wesley got the springs cleaned up again, took all the rust off of them.
Did you want to tap them front tabs down?
Okay, so we got this one done. And this one right here is ready for the cover. Once the cover's made. Okay. All the foam's done. Blow that off. A broom just sometimes won't get all that dirt off. This is the material that we ordered for it. You can look at it and tell it's pretty close. We had some that was close already, but it wasn't that close. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay this out. I measured across the seat yesterday. I know it was 27 inches. So we're going to roll this down the roll. I'm going to cut it off 27 inches once I find out if it's square. Always make sure that your material is cut square. Because if it's not, that's, you can feel that's a half inch all the way down, so that is square. Seven. And that's enough to do the backrest and the bottom all the way down. So there's one. Might as well go ahead and cut both of them at the same time. When you're doing seats like this, it's best to do both and cut the patterns and stuff at the same time, because if you don't, you got to start all back over on the same seat. So always cut your patterns for right and left seats at the same time. You don't want this to take all day. You're trying to get it done. You think, I mean, especially if you give them a price, then you want. If you give them a price, then you want it done as fast as you can. If you didn't give them a price, and you're doing it about an hour, and we do a bunch of stuff about an hour, then you don't have to rush. In this case, he already knows the price. So we already told him what it was going to cost.
So we're trying to get this done where you can get the truck back on the road.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do now is get it done where he can get back to doing what he's doing.
Truck ain't making no money with no seat in it.
And as long as it's on this table, we're not making none. China store really cheaped out on this gun. Didn't they with? Hey, at one time it had the fan on the side right here. Because they're having to pay tariffs now, they're saying, you'll make it cheaper. You'll make it cheaper. And that way, it might just fall apart whenever you take it out of the box.
Got that roller if you want to roll it.
I'm not gluing a headliner. You know, I'm just trying to get this to where I can sew it without it moving everywhere. So even if I stick this with a little damp, you see how can you see the blush on there? You see the blush? How it's doing that? How I stuck it a little bit before it actually dried. It makes it blush. But I'm just gonna set it over there flat like and let it go on and dry through the foam that I put on the back of it.
You'll cut the top off, I'll cut the others behind you.
I'm just gonna let it sit over there wet and dry for a minute. And then we're gonna cut all that other stuff out. All the boxes. We're just gonna let it sit over here, flat, where it's flat and dry. We're gonna do this piece right here. Like I said, you want to do both seats at the same time. I put plastic on the top of my table just so it will, keep all the glue off of my table. It's easier to pull a piece of plastic away than it is to try to clean that glue up. My little air vent hole right there was kind of stopped up. When you do your air vent, make sure that you put it at the back. Because as you lean the gun over, it will come out. Like I just done like that. You don't want that air vent hole right there stopped up. It'll make it spray thick, because it won't be getting no air. Normally I don't pull that tube out of this piece, but it came out this time. You want that piece of vinyl right there flat as you're doing that. See how that's rolled up, lifted up? If I put it on with it lifted up, it's going to be lifted up on that edge. That foam will hold it up. I ain't saying that it won't work, but it does work better for me whenever it's flat. Get glue in your hands. We fill up the trash can out here real quick. Sometimes we'll save these pieces of foam like this. In case we got a little hole to fill up or something like that, we'll save it. Instead of having to get a new piece off the roll. Alright, we don't need no more of this right now. The next thing is what they call the faucet. Or should I say, this is what I call the faucet. I don't know why this is so bad. This part right here, this is the base of the seat. So these are the pieces that I'm going to be cutting out. I think I've already got some pieces like this, but what we're going to do is I'm just going to trace these out because he's going to cut them apart. Right here in the corners where that big dip is, it's got a bag right in here. I'm just going to come right beside it, cut it out. Was. That makes it lay down like that, and then I go back and I seam it back up. But whenever you do that, you got to allow for that stitch, for that seam, 1/2. So whenever you cut it out, you got to do it like this. Come right here, right there. Come down, come out, and give yourself that little bit right there, 1/2 inch. You can make it 3/8 or whatever, but you got to give yourself that much allowance. Like this right here, whenever I cut these seams, I do them just like that. That gives me that 1/2 inch. And all the way around, well, they call it a thread, all the way around the seat boxing, you go just like that. So simple. Wesley put these marks on here for the video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use them. We're gonna give that 1/2 inch right there, just so I can sew a loop right here. That might not be 100%, but it's pretty close. So we're gonna come right here and we're gonna mark these. This is for the viewers right here. Whenever you sewing that seat together, you need to go around it and mark. That's your lineup marks right there. So you'll know where you're at whenever you start doing these, putting these seats back together. If you don't put them, you might wind up getting lost. I'm gonna go ahead and line that up and let that be my 1/2 inch mark right there. So I'm gonna come right here, over, give that 1/2 inch. Okay, here's it. He put the marks on here. If you sewed hundreds of these up, you pretty much can figure it out just by going the way that you had it. You know what I mean? But if you don't know, this could be complicated. All right, we're gonna cut this right here out. I might take that piece right here off with and put it on the bits. I cut that way. So that's a short distance. I can do that pretty easily. This right here is the back part. Now me and Wesley talked about this right here a while ago, how this right here goes around like that. And he said that would be hard to put in. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to put the cover through the hole, and then right there at the end, lift that up to put these 2 bolts in to hold the backrest on. It can be aggravating. All right, so here we go. And if you look at that, that does have pad on it. Looks like somebody's redone it before, so that's got headliner on it, so that lets you know it's been redone. All right, so this is just the bottom. This ain't the backrest. So what I'm gonna do is did these sides right here have any on it, Wesley? No, that didn't have none on it. Okay, so these right here didn't have no pad. I think sometimes they look better with a little 1/8 inch, a 1/4 inch pad on it. Maybe I can cut these out pretty fast and go on and trace them backwards. It seems like I can cut straighter than I can draw the line. whenever you start cutting these out, you need to kind of keep them separated. You don't want to take and put what's on, get your pieces mixed up from one seat. It's easy to do now, from one seat to the next. You want to keep it all separated out. So this is fixing to be the bottom. I will take and pad this piece right here. I cut it straight because I thought that right there was stretched or something. A good Sharpie, or now they make markers for this. I ain't never find them. People use a different marker than this right here, and it looked like it worked really good. So all you trim shops that use a different marker besides the Sharpie, let me know what it is. I think you can wipe them off. When you're tracing this out, you don't want to put no pressure against the vinyl and move it. So it takes a little bit of patience to get it all down pat. Lightly, draw the line. I mean, like, real lightly. Don't push on that marker. Okay, so we got all our boxing right there done for the bottoms. All we got to do is cut this right here out. There's one. I know this is like watching a rerun right here. Cutting this stuff out. I'm going to use lay some stuff down on top of some other material, cut myself under. Ooh, that's bad, man. These scissors, oh.
All our scissors need to be sharpened.
I could have done cut this out. Okay, we want to keep that pile in a different pile.
Looks like there's some glue on them scissors too.
Yeah, it's holding me up. Or I did a push, so like this. Wouldn't it be nice to have a plotter and just sit there and punch it in and let the machine do it? Got all these pieces right here cut out. Look at this. Put that in the top. Okay, now we got, I didn't order a whole bunch of this, y'all. This right here is the boxing for the back seat. So I cut these out. This backrest looks like it's got a little bit of pad on it. And these sides right here has got some pad on it. And to tell you the truth, the bottom could have had a little pad on it. Alright, so I know that's straight, so we're gonna do this one, this right here. I can't see over the edge. Okay, so we got that. You can go around it and mark that right there, or you can put a V right here in the middle and just go around the edge if you think that you know how to do it that way without pushing and sewing around the curves. Oh. This is what I mean by I can cut straighter than I can draw. Alright, so here we go. Take this piece right here, face to face. I wonder if one of them electric knives will a whole lot faster. Okay, so there's our backrest pieces. Here's our side pieces. I think we can get it out of this piece right here. If you can do your line, you can always move your piece back to it. And put some marks on it. Let's mark all that stuff right there. If you got you some really sharp scissors, you can kind of just push it along the way and just get it right out so smooth. Alright. So here we go. We're going to cut this one right here out just the same way as it was. And then I'm going to cut two out just face down. Like this. So we're going to cut two out like this. As far as I know, these sides are supposed to be the same. Yep, they are. So we're going to cut them up to the face. Where's that scrap headline at there, Wes?
Now we got it right here beside me.
Wesley can about, he's done this so much, he's about to tell what I'm going to ask for next. Okay, so we got all these pieces right here cut out. It goes on the sides. We're going to stick this over to the side because I might need some of those pieces that I ain't seen yet. I try to lay this stuff out where I don't waste no foam, you know. I don't want to waste none. Everything's already high enough. I missed that somehow. I'm gonna have to cut this off and turn that around and get closer to it because I'm too far away. Trying to keep the glue off of it. A little bit short right there, but it ain't gonna matter. That's where the piece of plastic's gonna go to seal up the seat. Okay, we got the backrest done. Now we got these sides. They had foam on them. If you hold your gun a long way from it, it won't usually lift it up. Turn the air down a little bit. Otherwise, it will flip it this way or that way. See how easy this is to mean, once you get started, it's not really like no manual labor. It ain't like working out there in the hot sun in a garden. Ooh, it didn't even take it all, did it? Who would have thought that it'd take this long to do it? How long have we been doing this video with?
Hour and 25 minutes.
An hour and 25 minutes just to cut out the patterns.
And part of that was the sandblasting and fixing of the foam on the bottom.
Trying to keep up with this as I go. Make it through the trash can. Okay. So we got that. We got the boxing cut out. We got the backrest cut out. So now comes the time to sew it up. We got about 40 minutes of lunch time. Yeah. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is, we know that this part right here, you need to know these lines right here are put in here in the center. See? That's your center line. Can you see that, Wes?
Mm-hmm.
So they started in the center. So what we're going to do before we even do that, we're going to come right here and I'm going to put me some center lines in there. And the lines are as wide as this ruler right here. That's how wide they are. So once I get my center line, I'm just going to do boom, 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 and I'm going to draw them out pretty quick. It did have a little anchor right here in the center. Was it Velcro?
One of them was Velcro.
It was Velcro. What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was Velcroed. It just had one little line sewed down through the center of it.
One was glued down, one had the Velcro on it.
Yeah, look at that. That's kind of flush all the way through. But it's all right. All right, so half a 20, what was it, 27? Yeah. I don't even have it cut off all the way to the edge. On this side.
And the other
Hey, that's some crap.
You laid it over
I laid it
dry.
over. Yeah. Give me some of that angry green. We're just gonna wipe it off and see if that comes off. It's over there on that wall. In this heat, it shouldn't take but a minute for it to dry. We're gonna say it's gonna half at 20. What is it? 27? Wouldn't that be 13 and a half? 13 and a half. That's our center line. It's got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just gonna put a C on that right there for center. I don't know why I didn't just write it on each side of the mark. I moved it. Where's the bottom at, Liz? $25. Hey, that's a little long right there. Whoever done that made that a little bit long. 25. Okay, so that's one ready to sew.
Brenda Jordan says hello. Lynn Burns says hello.
Hey, Lynn Burns. Hey, Brenda Jordan.
I missed the comments. They went off the screen and I wasn't keeping up with them. And Beverly Walling said hello. Good morning. And Jane.
Hey, Beverly. Hey, Jane.
Sorry, I wasn't keeping up with the comments.
I wish I had a ruler that was a little bit longer than this one right here. That way, I could go down the whole line. all the pieces right there. So the next thing would be just sew the seams in it and cut it out and start sewing it together. So. Wes, if you kind of turn the camera around for you, once he cleans up over here, we keep it in a just a rack most of the time.
We wouldn't know how to work in a clean shop.
No. Okay. That is tan.
Set on the third shift or the second shift down there.
Right here.
The next
Right
one
here?
down. Look, the next one down there was a
Right there.
no. The next shift.
Oh, down here.
What was that?
That looks like a brown kind.
I just caught a glimpse when you moved the chair.
That looks close. Whenever you do your thread, always check that thread. Make damn sure it's strong like that right there. Because you don't want to be putting the thread in here and it, hey, if it's bad, you can just take it just like this and pop it like it ain't nothing. This is strong. So naturally, to sew this much up, I'm gonna have to wind up some bobbins. Fortunately, it won't take that long. You don't take that bobbin case out, it wraps around that hook. You're gonna have to stop, clean all that crap out, all that thread that knocks up down there. Give me a couple of Q-tips, Wes, so while this right here is winding. Wesley can tell you that we use Q-tips on a lot of things. If we're dyeing some stuff and we got a little spot that we got to dye or touch up or something like that, get you some dye and just take a Q-tip. That's a really good brush. Anyways, see how dirty that is? That's from all that dirt off of these seats. I'm gonna go ahead and wind some up because I don't have but one cone. See, I got to wind up some. Otherwise, I could just sew and wind at the same time if I had two of them. This is not 3-in-1 oil in this can. This is sewing machine oil. I take the top off of that and pour that in there. I put my own oil in it. I just use the can. sewing machine oil. A factory went out of business and moved to Mexico. So when that factory left, they were selling some of that stuff, and I bought a 55-gallon drum of sewing machine oil. I didn't know how long it was gonna last, but a long time. Maybe that napkin over there, Rich, that I had with the angry brand on it. All right, so we got a few cases wound. If I had to, I'll find some more. But I got 3. That might be enough. That might be enough to start. So I got it in there. Okay, so it's ready to sew. Pants is a little dirty, got some glue on, but I want to go ahead and get this right here started. So we're gonna go like this right here. Need all the light I can get. The older I get. Always check your stitch. I should have done it before I ever started. Check your stitch. If you fold this material backwards, like the other way that I'm going here, it can put a crease in there that makes it hard to get out whenever you go to put your seat cover on. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get out. So know which way you're rolling it up. here good. You bend that backwards like this, it will put a wrinkle in this right here. And it's kind of hard to get out. So that's what I was talking about. That's the reason. What I'm doing is I was sewing it and folding it back up under like this right here, so it won't wrinkle it back the other way. Here you go, Wes. If I turned it around and went the opposite way, it could possibly make it wrinkle in between the stitches. If it's not glued real good. I mean, it could. I'm saying it will, but it could. I seen a Chinese woman on YouTube. That joker made me look like I was going in slow motion. That sewing machine she had must have been programmed or something. But they do one piece. That's the way an assembly line works. They have one piece that they sew on, and then they throw it in a buggy. And then the next person gets it, and they have one piece that they sew on, and they throw it in a buggy. By the time it gets to the end of the assembly line, then it's a seat cover. So none of them know exactly how to put all the pieces together, or they go home and try to do it. Just say you sewed for 10 hours and you was like sewing one piece together over and over and over again, you would get really fast at it.
You check the bottom ring.
Yeah. So we got all these pieces right here done. I will check the bobbin down. They don't have like a fuel gauge on there. So whenever you're sewing the stuff up, you can run out if you're not careful. Oh, wait, so hand me some of them pieces right over there for that box. And I'm gonna sew some of them boxes right here up. This piece right here, I was gonna put some. I got to put some pad on it. This piece. Remember that? Get this doggone glue off my thing. Hand me that center piece right here, Wes. Okay, I see it. I got it. It didn't have a top stitch on it. Like this. that's these corners. Whenever we cut that out on these side pieces, that we said they needed to add a half inch to it so you can sew it together. Find the center right here. This vinyl right here was like 20, what was it, 20 something dollars a yard, Weston? Yeah,
Something like that.
that's what it was, like 20 some odd dollars a yard. These pieces right here had like that quarter inch on here. So we're gonna put it back on here. And I'm telling you, I traced this right here out from them other people's stuff. I'm looking at it and it don't look right. This right, this was somebody else's pattern that made it. That's 6.5. That is 6 3/4. So we're gonna come right here before we get started, and we're gonna straighten this up a little bit. Anytime you can look at it and tell that something ain't just right, you need to be measuring. And I can tell that whoever cut that out was drinking. A lot of people that do some of this drink with. I never did, but a lot of people be drinking. They probably have to. Ah. Alright, so this is the back part of the seat. That's each side of it. It goes at the very back of this boxing right here. And this is called listing. This is what this right here is. It's called listing. It's got a little bitty bead in there to keep it from pulling out. Fortunately, I think that's about the same width. So we're going to put this listing back on here like you can. I made this a little bit long, so all I got to do is come right here and sew a loop in.
Is there a certain size that loop has to be, or just big enough for a wire?
I'm just putting it big enough for a wire. The way I done it was I made it about basically 3/4 of an inch bigger than what it was, just so I could put that loop in it. And this right here goes across here. It had this listing on it, like this. You see it went all the way over to the edge. That's the reason it's longer on each side. It come over just like this right here. If you wanted to, you could sew that on the top like this right here and make it lay down. But they didn't have it that way, so I ain't gonna do it. It's held up for how many years, West? Since '98.
$17 years.
Yeah. So it's gonna come right here. Cut two of them at the same time. Save on time. This could be a very time-consuming job if you don't have everything kind of lined up. It can take you all day to do these seats. For real, it can take you all day to do these seats. There's our pieces that go in the back. So that piece right there across the front, I think I'll be done with that. When I back this sewing machine up, that's to reverse and lock the stitches in case anybody didn't know that. Sometimes I've been doing it so long, I just don't even think about mentioning some of the things. Okay, there's the boxings, both seats. All I gotta do is cut that boxing out, like cut the bottoms out, and then I'll do the backrest. I could go ahead and back sew these right here up. So Wes is gonna turn the camera around while I cut these right here out real quick. Whew. And this is how it's done. like this. The other bottom didn't look no better than this.
The other bottom's still together. It's right there.
Okay, so here it is right here. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking I cut that 25 inches. Sometimes the patterns is all messed up. So I'm gonna take and cut this off 25 inches. You can look at this right here. You can look at the old pattern and get a little bit of a reference point off of it. You might can look at that and get some idea of how this right here was made or how it was put together. But when it's stretched and distorted real bad, sometimes that's not as easy to do. What I do is here it is. Okay, I'm just gonna cut this one off 25 inches. That's both of my bottoms right there. And that's both of my backrests. Alright, here's my phone, here's my piece. Once I get this right here done, and then I'll take and put the other pattern up there and see how close or how far off I am.
Thank you, Jane. I try not to make y'all dizzy with moving the camera as much as I do.
Jane. We don't want to mess nobody back up.
Moving it around.
Okay, you can see I'm pretty close. The old pattern and stuff is a little bit shrunk up from what I just done, from what I just moved it, the way I moved it. Okay, so all these lines right here is lined up. This is the, which one is this, Wes? The driver? Passenger?
That should be driver.
So I'm gonna come right in here and I'm gonna kind of split the difference a little bit. It's really, really, really close. I mean, it's very close. This right here, I can tell that's shrunk or pushed in. You can look at this right here and tell that it's pushed in. Show them that right there, Wiz. It's where people's been jumping in here, and you can tell that that's pulled over that way. So if you pull it back, like if you pulled it back, you'd be able to tell that it's closer to the mark. So I'm right here. You look how that goes in right there. When I made my mark, it went out. So I'm gonna kind of go more with my mark. And instead of it going in, dipping in like that, I'm gonna go with my mark. So I'm gonna come right in here, and I'm just gonna take a ruler, and I'm gonna mark it all the way down like that. And that's how much. That's just a little bit right here. So I'm gonna come right in here. Here's the line right here. Line right in here. Somebody else done that. I think that it should be a little bit bigger than that right there. And I'm gonna go with that. After I cut this right here off, This right here, I'm thinking should be a little bit bigger. Maybe like that. Than it being so small.
Well, now the cover's still together on that one. You need to look.
That's all right. Look at that. Hey, don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. I didn't cut that off. I'm over here marking patterns out. And if you look on that side right there, I was going to cut that off. I'm going to tell you, that really don't even have to be cut off. That right there might be a little bit long. Okay, so I'm going to come right in here. If you got a hole punch, you can just cut you a little hole right there at the end, and it makes it kind of neat to go around that edge right there. If you got a hole punch. If you don't, then just cut it out with these scissors. Okay. If I'm in a hurry, kind of like I am today, you see how I'm doing it. All right, we're going to line this right here up. There we go. Sometimes you can take these little pieces like that and go around them edges. If it's long enough. This one right here looks like it's long. Wide enough. What about the other? That way you ain't wasting, at least you ain't wasting the material, you know. Like that. So I sew around these right here, these loops, and start sewing some of this up. If you come right here, this is, some people take and fold it like this right here, like that. If that's the way you're comfortable with, that's fine. But I always do it like this. I'll take and fold it back like this. Push it. You're going into a curve, you want to push it, like leaning going into the curve. Okay. We're gonna come right here. You want a neat looking seam, you know what I mean? So you want it neat looking. So we're gonna take and fold it down, and we're gonna put a top stitch on it, just like this. It does gather right in that tight joint right there. It gathers a little bit, but we're gonna put a top stitch on it. All right, then we're gonna come back. It's a shame you got to sew it like this many times. I'm gonna fold it back around like this right here, back it under, and you see this way. Fold it back around, and right here by the seam, right here by the edge of the seam, is where I'm gonna sew it. Kind of like hiding this stitch. I'll show you. I'll stick it over there to the camera to show you the finished product. It does wrinkle sometimes right in that corner right there, going around that curve. But it was like that. It was like that from the back. Okay. All right. Sometimes I take that and leave that a little long. All right, in here. Where's my glue pot with?
Right there.
Is it clean? Clean kind? Huh? Yeah. It's easy to take a glue pot and hit that right there. Was a little not dry. Yeah, we hate to throw that away. I believe that's going to have a cleaning. Okay. Go ahead and put a little lacquer iron in that rubber with some soap. While that's drying, I'll do this. I didn't do it on the other one, but you can cut some of the excess out where it makes that curve. Sometimes the littlest thing seems like it takes so long to just like this, you know? Just the little things that slows you up. I'll wind up spraying that and maybe taking the brush, smoothing it out a little bit. Waiting for that bobbin to run out. It run out. I wound up enough bobbins. It's not as interesting sewing up. It's more interesting whenever somebody comes out here and I'm sewing up their seat. That's whenever they're more interested in it. Because they're like, hey, don't make no doggone mistake on my seat. I thought I had a piece of stay oil over here.
That's some other piece I got the lock
That's
pick on.
That's it. I think it's long enough. Right. All I'm going to do is just glue these right here down. Then sew some boxing on here. It goes pretty quick. probably do it after I go around. And just like that, we've taken what are you looking for, Wes?
You want to
Oh,
bring
yeah,
it up
I was
here
gonna
and glue
glue
it?
it. I was gonna glue these pieces down. Fortunately, these already had a little glue on them. Because I pulled it off of that piece of bone. How much battery we got with Wes?
It don't tell me battery on your phone. If it does, I don't know how to make it do it.
We're gonna do this right here real quick. Alright.
I don't know which side that goes to.
Always start in the middle. If you got marks on here, you need to look at your marks. If you're not familiar with what you're doing, like you need to go back, match up all them marks, like that. You can see that right there's got to go back around. So this piece right here needs to go on here first. Was the original one laid down? Like had a top stitch on it? It sure didn't, did it? Hey, they just sewed that joker together like that. So that's the way we're gonna do it. I mean, they sewed it together like that from the factory. They held up all these years. We're gonna do it the same way. You got marks.
What? I have a question. Why did they add that piece in it and we didn't with ours?
Where at? Let me look at it. They
Did you
didn't
make
make it
yours?
long enough.
Okay, but did you make?
They put that piece in. Yeah, they put that piece in. That's been worked on. Looks like a man. Don't it, do you? Like it's kind of been worked on some. It did have, was it a French thing going around the front of that? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It came with a French thing, but we're not going to put it back in there. We're just going to put a top on it. It's a work truck, believe me. In a week, it'll have so much junk all over this truck you won't even be able to see a top stitch. A top stitch is actually stronger than a French thing. A French thing just has the stitches in the middle to hold it. And this is what you're trying to achieve. See that center mark right there? Right here in the center, right here. It's all got the line up. If you're a 1/4 inch past it, it's going to be a 1/2 inch by the time you get around. If you're a 1/4 inch before it, it's going to be a 1/2 inch before it whenever you get around. So just remember, that's important to make sure, even if you got to take it back loose, to make sure that you get it dead in the center it needs to be. This ain't a piece of furniture. It ain't near as forgiving as a piece of furniture is. I've even seen the factory put up a tape. Like they would put a top stitch right here and then go back and put a fake stitch to make it look like it was a French thing. These things right here, whenever you're doing these, they really need to be real straight. So you need to get you a line up point and make sure that you get all these top stitches like this right here straight. Even if you got to do it like I'm doing it, real slow, go around it like this right here and stop, get you another point, stop, pull it to make sure that you're getting it all lined up just right. Because if somebody's ever going to look at your work, it's going to be these stitches right here. They're going to be looking at them and say, oh my, look at that crap. What a mess did you make. Okay, everybody. What we'll do is put this on and show you that it fits. We're going to go to lunch and we'll about to come back and finish it all up. And we'll find out what it's going to turn out to look like once it's all said and done.
That back or the other?
It don't matter. So it wasn't glued or nothing like that. You can tell that it's just laid on the phone, just like the old work trucks was. Believe me, it would do better. It's pretty hot right here in Georgia. If I stuck it outside, it would be like butter going on here.
Might be too hot to touch.
when you pull this together, you hold these pieces. You hold these pieces together like this. If you don't, it will bust that seam. Okay, and that's what it's supposed to look like once it's anchored down. Once we pull all this right here down, anchor it. At least all of it matches up and fits. That's gonna go just right. Once it's all pulled, it makes these covers last a little bit longer if you take and shoot a little bit of glue up under here and it holds where it don't seesaw or move around a little bit. But eventually it would kind of go to it, but if you put a little bit of glue in the center up under the cover and glue it down, make the cover last a whole lot longer. All right, everybody.
Oh, hold on, I'm gonna show you. This is the one that come off of it.
It looks like it was fixed in doo-doo kitchen, don't it?
Like I say, that was what come off of it.
Yeah.
It was in badly needed of repair.
There's probably some stuff up under there that could probably hurt you. Look. Hey, y'all. Y'all see the front of that seat? That's where the booger diggers put their boogers for real. So help me God, I've been doing this 47 years. You'd be surprised. It's right on the front of the seat. Woo. Ain't it right, Wesley? Anyway, that's too much information. But hey, check back with us after lunch. We'll probably do this in a little bit. I'm gonna charge my phone up to where it can cool down just a little bit. And whenever we come back, we're gonna zip these backrests up, and we're gonna do this $1,800 job up today. And that way, they'll be happy, we'll be happy. It's the little jobs that makes you the money. Thanks, everybody.